Hi, I'm Andrea Ivory, your host of Living for Longevity, a podcast designed to help you live your best life, presented by the Women's Breast and Heart Initiative, a nonprofit organization that transforms and saves lives through disease prevention and early detection. Today, I am honored to introduce our guest, Hector Arana, marathon runner, philanthropist, running coach, and he is the co-owner of iRun running shoe store right here in Miami. Hector, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, being physically fit is critical to our mobility, and it also enhances our lifestyles. Boosting and maintaining mobility can be achieved through engaging in activities such as walking, cycling, swimming, and running. Today, I'm super excited because we're going to talk about how social, casual, and competitive running can make a positive impact on your physical, social, and emotional well-being. Hector, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's get to it.
Let's
First,
do it.
please tell me more about yourself.
My name is Hector Arana. I am a 53-year-old born and raised Miami boy.
Wow.
I
Wow.
Yeah.
There's not many of you.
Not many at my age. Not many at my age. Maybe the younger generation, yeah, but at my age I am a small percentage, and I love my city. I'm never leaving Miami, and this is where I was born and raised.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I am a business owner. I opened a running store in 2011 because of my passion for running. I started running with my son when he was 7, 8 years old, and I thought he was going to continue running, and like any younger kid, decided to take a path for something else, and I continued running. And after being 20 years in another business, I was I was working in the pawn shop business, the secondhand dealers.
Wow.
Yeah. Watches, diamonds, Cartier, all the good stuff. Rolexes.
Do you still have those contacts?
I still have them.
Oh, we have to talk.
I still have them. They still reach out to me.
Okay.
And after 20 years of doing that, the gentleman that I worked for, which was like a father to me, he taught me a lot of things, even the things that I've applied in my current business. He had always told me I was going to be a business partner. And I'll never forget the day, 19 years and about 11 months. And we had a conversation. We sat on a table just like this. It was a glass table, and I sat down and I was nervous the entire day because I was ready to become a partner. And when I asked him, his response was, "The time's not right." And I was like, oof, okay. And I made a decision right there and then. I said, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on, not having anything on the table. I just said, if I don't leave, I come from a background that all my family was entrepreneurs or all business owners. My father had his own business. My grandparents had their own business. And I always thought that I was meant to have my own business. And I thought that was the sign right there and then. I was about to turn 40 years old. And I said, it's now or never.
Wow. That's interesting. Kind of threw you out there.
Threw me out there.
Wow. So tell me, how has your relationship with running kind of evolved over time?
My relationship with myself?
Running.
With running? Oof. I think we all start running, and everyone has a different reason. I started running for fitness. Was my first, goal. And then it turned into so many other things. It turned into a passion where if I didn't run, you get that runner's high that people talk about. I get goosebumps talking about it. You get that runner's high, and I've been athletic all my life, and that just running is different. I tell people, I played football in high school. I weightlifted. I did cycling for many years. I played beach volleyball. and running just hits different. There's something about it, and it became me.
Well, you look pretty good, so
Thank
you're
you.
doing something right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think running helps. I think running helps.
Science has proven that running has many benefits, from improving overall heart health to just basic mental well-being. It is an accessible and thoughtful and planned experience for beginners and seasoned runners alike. Now, Hector, please tell me, for beginners, me, a beginner, what should be done before I even consider starting a running regimen?
I mean, you said it. You hit the nail on the head when you talk about accessible, and it's what I tell people. It's, if you look at all the sports, it's still the most accessible. I don't want to use the cheapest or the inexpensive, because running has its cost. But I think compared to all the other sports, it is still the one where you put on your shoes, you put on your socks, and you just go out. You go out. At the end of the day, I try and educate my runners where you don't have to go out and run the first time you go out and run. A 20-minute walk sometimes is more than enough. If you haven't ran, and I tell people this, I've been doing this for 16, 17 years. Running is still the hardest thing I've ever done as far as a sport. So if you go from 0 to 100, then you're not doing it right. So I tell people, let's go from 0 to 5 miles per hour. That's the first time you go out, 20 minutes, 10 minutes out, turn around, 10 minutes back. That's it. And those 20 minutes, if you haven't done it, you're going to feel it the next day. You're definitely going to feel it.
Oh, I'm afraid to ask. What am I going to feel, Hector?
I mean, a good soreness. Good soreness, it's muscles that we haven't used. There's a difference between walking at an amusement park and walking with a purpose. I tell the runners or the walkers, don't get on your phone, because if you're on your phone, then you're defeating the purpose. I want you to walk with like a nice little steady pace. I want you to get your legs moving. It's not, sometimes we want to look at the birds and the sky and the trees, but then we get entertained and then we lose focus or we lose our pace, where if we want to get into it and we want to start transitioning from walking to running, we need to walk at a nice steady pace.
So, in preparation for beginning this routine, what should a hydration and nutritional regimen consist of? What should you be doing to prepare? Always about preparation. I want to get more people engaged.
Yeah. I mean, in this Miami weather, and this year it's hit
brutal.
Different. This year it's hit different. I woke up this morning, and we were already heat wave. Feels like 99 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning. So the hydration is the key. I'm educating the runners also, and the walkers. I'm pre-gaming the night before.
And what does that look like?
So electrolytes. People think water is enough. I see people drinking gallons and gallons of water, which is great. But we need to sometimes add a little extra something to it. We sell tablets or packets of extra electrolytes, because water isn't enough. So for example, what I'm doing is, I'm a heavy sweater. So I'll drink my electrolytes during the night, wake up in the morning and drink another cup. So my system already has extra electrolytes. So when I'm out there sweating, I'll be kind of like already with something in my system. Right now, I can't do any runs without a little handheld or a belt with my little bottles or something like that, because it's just too hot and it's not healthy. Some people think, oh, I'm not going to use anything. I want to run for an hour without anything. Why? Why would you want to do that? Having some water, having some electrolytes is going to help you. So I'm very careful with when people try and prove that they can do something without nutrition, preparation or hydration.
So, that's good to know, because you think about it. You could become dehydrated.
Yeah.
I've seen people pass out.
Yeah.
because they haven't been hydrated.
Yeah.
And it's really important that our listening audience knows that water is just not enough.
Yeah.
Those electrolytes,
Yeah.
that's a great tip.
Electrolytes it's key. It's why companies, have made now, remember the Pedialyte? Athletes used to use Pedialyte, and now companies have tapped into that Pedialyte kind of like, drink and made it their own, because it does help. It does help. Extra electrolytes. I'm a person that I go running, and I'll lose on a 5, 6, 7 mile run anywhere from 4 to 5 pounds. 4 to 5 pounds, and it's really more water. It's more water. And this is me drinking water, and sometimes it's not enough.
Wow, that's exciting to know.
Yeah.
I need to get running. My knees.
Yes.
I need to get running,
Yes.
man. Okay, awesome. Well, what's the difference between casual, competitive, and social running?
They're all three of the same. I think we all start casually walking.
Okay.
That casual walk becomes a casual run. The social component right now, the social component is huge. If there's something we've seen now in Miami, there's a big social movement in the running right now in Miami.
And what does that mean? That social, I was looking and reading. I didn't want to read too much. I wanted you to share with me the difference between casual, social, and competitive.
Yeah, there's the people that just go out and they just want to move their legs, get their 10,000 steps a day, which is kind of like the magic number for people to stay active on their daily lives, daily routines. And then now we got this new movement where everyone has created some sort of a run club. Doral has a run club. Miami Run Club. I mean, there's so many clubs, and what this has done is this has brought a lot of newer people to the running community because of the social aspect.
Wow.
So socially now it's a big thing where you get together in different, we've been doing a run club per se since 2011. But now in 2024, I think Miami has close to 50 run clubs, which when we started in 2011, maybe there was 5 or 6. And then you take that run club, social into the competitive. I push my customers, my runners, we start walking. Hey, there's this 5K coming up in a couple weeks. They're like, yeah, but I can't. You can. There's no pressure. Just sign up and just run. And they finish and they get that medal or they get that T-shirt or they get, that runner's high. And then that becomes like, wow, when's the next one? Oh, there's another one coming up in another month. And then they take that 5K to 10K, 10K to a half marathon. And then you become someone like myself who said, I would never run a marathon. And I've completed 20.
Wow.
I've completed 20.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes.
20 marathons.
20 marathons.
What is the difference between long distance and short distance running? Yeah, I heard you mention 5K and marathons and all of that.
Yeah.
So could you break that down for people who are not in the running space? Because I always see people running for these marathons or, doing these triathlons. And please educate us.
Yeah, the beauty with running, so many distances. It's one of those sports, if you play baseball, you know how the construction of the baseball, the 9 innings. If you play football, where running is completely different. A 5K is 3.1 miles. I tell everyone can run that. I've never done it. I go, I promise you, put on a pair of sneakers, you and I go out together and we'll run a 5K. You have the sprinting. You have the sprinters. You have people that love the 400, the 800, the 200. And then you have, once again, and it's the beauty, the evolution of a runner, where they start with the sprinting and then they get challenged to run a mile. And you have to remember, for a sprinter who runs 100, 200, 400 meters, a mile is a marathon for them. A mile's a marathon.
That would be me.
Yeah.
That would be me.
But we get that mile, and we turned it into a 3.1 mile, which is a 5K. You just hit different points of your life or different points of your running career, and you want to push yourself. Everyone's push is different. It took me 20 marathons to learn that it's not my jam. 20 marathons was
brutal?
Not brutal. I'm not going to say brutal. I always chased a number. So I run for time. There's other runners that run just because they want to complete the distance. And I always wanted to finish in a certain time. And the marathon for me personally, maybe it's because of the way I run. Maybe it's because of my composition. It could be because of my water loss during running. I don't do well in the heat, even though I'm from here. And I figured that the half marathon, which is 13.1 miles, is my distance.
That's what you do.
That's
your limit. That's what you set and you feel comfortable in.
I feel comfortable. I'm at 53. I'm still pretty decent at it. Last year when I crossed the marathon in Tokyo, so there's this big thing in running called the 6 World Major Marathons.
Tell us about that.
So it's a phenomenon. When I started running, this wasn't a big deal, but there's six marathons in the world that are considered the top. And every runner right now wants to complete the 6 World Major Marathons. So it's New York City Marathon, Chicago, Boston, which is a qualifier. That's a tough one to get in. You either qualify by time or you get in by charity. And then you have London, Berlin, and Tokyo. So when you finish these 6 marathons, then you get this one medal that has all 6 marathons completion. And right now I am part of 16,000 runners in the world that have completed all 6. So we talked about the running boom and everything now that's going on with running and how crazy it is. Most people want to run just the 6. So I'll give you some numbers which for me are mind-blowing. The London Marathon was, I think, April 5th, a Sunday. London Marathon opens the registrations for 2025 the Saturday before the race on Sunday.
Wow.
They get 800,000 people to register.
That's amazing.
For 50,000 spots.
And so this is very interesting. These marathons, and you did mention charity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do any of them have charity components? What do they do with all of the money that they raise?
So all of them have a charity.
Very nice.
Because the truth is, because it's gotten so competitive to get in, there's times, there's companies that buy a certain amount of entries. I mean, it's so complicated now that for a lot of people, they can only get in through a charity. So my last marathon, Tokyo 2023, I got in through a charity, and I did it through the Ronald McDonald's House.
So you had to raise funds?
So this one was different. I made an out-of-pocket donation. Instead of raising, I decided, not to bother anyone, and I just gave one lump sum, and they accepted it, and that's how I got in.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I'm not a runner, clearly.
You will be.
Okay. I see so many of my friends and colleagues like yourself that are runners, and I'm wondering why they're running all around the world. I'm like, why are they going? And a better question is, how can they afford to do this? Do you get sponsors? I mean, you can't possibly work and go and do all of these marathons and all of these runs all around the world. So tell me how that works. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, when I started running at least the 6 World Major Marathons, like I said before, it wasn't a big deal. It's become now the big thing. Now I started in 2015 my World Major Marathon journey. So from 2015, I finally completed in 2013.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it did take me a bunch of years. Some people are doing it in a couple years. I don't, for me, I couldn't afford it. I had a family, I had kids back then, that were younger. So for me, it was just a matter of I made a vacation out of it.
Ah.
So that's kind of how most people
You position it.
You know you're married, you have a girlfriend. Hey, let's go to London. Oh, and by the way, there's this marathon.
While we're there,
I'm just for one day, I'm going to run a marathon.
Here, go shopping.
Yeah. So that's that. At least for me, that's always been a thing. I tell people, and it's something that runners always say: running takes you places. I mean, I don't think I've ever would have gone to Japan if it wasn't because of running.
Wow.
And it's the beauty with running. Once again, it's, you can just put on a pair of shorts, the right shoes, right socks, and you're out the door, and you get to explore. You get to explore the city while you're running.
It's amazing.
While you're running.
It's amazing. So, when running, what is the most important item to wear and why?
Well, this is where I come in. So, the shoes. The shoes, I can tell you, we can run in T-shirts, which is not usually what we want to do, but you can start off with any shorts, any T-shirts, but the shoes. So, the shoes are important because that's the foundation. And I tell people your feet are what's closest to the ground. Running is an impact sport, and the shoes are
your cushion.
The cushion. Every time you land it just feels good. So the shoes are the first and most important purchase that anybody who's going to walk or run. And secondly, the socks. Socks.
You have to wear socks.
You have to wear socks.
We're in Miami.
No, you have to wear they're ultralight, moisture wicking. They're all the good stuff, but you cannot wear cotton.
And you have to wear socks.
You have to wear socks that are non-cotton.
Why non-cotton?
Cotton absorbs moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So
they
sweat, they keep your feet wet, and then cotton starts moving around, and people will get blisters, and I'll ask them what type of socks. They're like, I just buy the socks. I mean, for me, the funniest thing is, for many, many years, I've been seeing Puma socks, and, it was mind-blowing to me. It's like, where do people get the Puma socks? And recently I started asking customers, why Puma socks? And they're like, oh, yeah, Costco, a bag full of socks for $10.
And are they cotton?
They're cotton. They're cotton. So then, we have demos. I put the sock on the customers, and they're like, this is different. And I'm like, yeah, that's how important it is. Because the truth is, you put on a good pair of socks, and just when they slide on, they feel different.
Wow.
They feel different.
Oh, I need some new socks. I'm not a sock person, but I guess I need to be a sock person.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it
makes a difference.
Yes. So tell me, I go into your store and I'm always amazed. Talk about the different types of running shoes.
Yeah. So the running shoes are according to the runner. So our specialty is for now almost 14 years, we do what's called a gait analysis. So it's the difference between iRun and shopping local and coming face to face with us than buying something online. So people online, they read, they get misguided, they shop a lot of times for looks and colors. Where when you come to iRun's a little different. We analyze the runner, we analyze the walker. How are you landing when you come down? Is your foot landing on the outside? Is your foot, for example, on my case, my foot pronates. So I come in and my foot lands in. So I wear a certain shoe, a special shoe for my gait. So we try and educate the runner. They come in, I'm starting to run. A lot of them already come with little aches and pains, and I tell them, if you trust me, I can help you, but we cannot be focused, at least not right now, at the beginning of the process, with the color or the aesthetics.
All right,
it's tough.
You might lose me there.
It's tough. We lose quite a few, but they always come back.
They always come back. So, you talked a little bit about the mechanics of it all, and you said, so let's talk about how you learn. You mentioned some gait or something.
Yeah.
Tell me, is that how you learn which running shoe is best for you? Can you go into that a little bit more in depth?
Yeah, like everything, I tell people, form something that people talk about. There's form coaches. There's people that teach runners how to run. I learned on my own. So for me, running, I have bad form. If you look at me and you look at certain runners, for me, I look good at the beginning, but then at the end, I'm like, wow,
I just want to get through this.
What happened? So, if for some people, if you can get a running coach, but I also believe that the beauty with running is that we're all different. If we took you and I, or if we took a room full of people, all of us are going to run different. Now, even at my older age or
more
later,
mature, more seasoned,
more veteran, I'm focusing more on my upper body. I'm trying to learn how to relax the shoulders, how to, I used to kind of clench my fists and my shoulders would hurt. So now I'm trying to relax and just let it happen a little bit more natural. I believe that a lot of times when we start focusing on so many other things, right, we take the fun out of what running is.
Okay.
Running is a space for you to get in touch with yourself. For you to, for me, we had this conversation earlier. Running for me, besides the runner's high and the achievements that I've done through running, I've done a lot of my best ideas for my store, for my personal life, come from running. Just me out there in the world, just one-on-one.
That's interesting. So it's more than a sport for you then?
It's more than a sport.
Well, why don't you explain in your own terms, what does running mean to you?
Yeah, for me personally, it's something that I can just go out there, and whether I have a problem, and sometimes it doesn't have to be a problem, but sometimes it can be as simple as, I remember years ago, I wasn't sleeping well, and I was just going out there and I would run, and I slept better after I ran. You're one with nature. When was the last time you go out there and you're running and you hear the wind or you hear the birds chirping or something, So for me, running is just more than one thing. Yes, the physical, but it's also the mental and the freedom. I get to do it. We live in Miami, and we're so lucky that we can do this all year long. So for me, it's just get out there and go. And I also listen to my body. Sometimes I run for time, and sometimes I run just for the pleasure of it. This Saturday I've been struggling a little bit with the weather, and this Saturday I decided I'm just going to go run. I'm not going to worry how long it takes me or what happens during my run. I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other. And for 8 miles, I had one of my slowest runs ever, but I finished.
You enjoyed it.
I felt great. And sometimes we put our own pressure on ourselves, because you want to reach a goal or a time, and I said, you know what? I'm too old for this. I'm just going to let it go. And I finished, and I was like, wow, it's been a long time that I didn't focus on the distance. Well, I did focus on the distance. I didn't focus on the pace or the time. And that was nice.
So you just mentioned distance, pace, and time.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Distance and running. We want to run a certain distance, whether it's miles, kilometers, and we break it down in pace. Like I said, I like running for time. I'll do a 5K, and I want to run that 3.1 mile race in as close to 20 minutes flat. I would love to run sub 20 minutes, but right now at my age, I can't. So 20 minutes flat, which is a 6:38, 6:40 pace per mile, which is not bad. Once again, for my age, it's average. There's guys out there, and I always get amazed. I'll do a race and I'll see if I podiumed in my category, and I'll get 4th place. And I was like, wow, 4th place. And they usually only give awards 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And I'll look at the first 3 guys, age 50, 55, and they're running 16 minutes, 17 minutes. I'm like, wow, here I am thinking I'm fast. Those guys are fast.
So we talked a little bit about shoes, running shoes, and getting them online or going to your own store or
Yep.
shoe.
Yep.
So, what is the best way to get fitted for shoes? We talked a little bit about that. What is the best way? What are the steps? You talked about that.
Yeah,
Can you just
local running stores. I tell people this, local. Miami has a bunch of, not as many as before because unfortunately the shopping online has killed the industry, has killed our business. But there are local running stores here that when you walk in, you get that attention. You get that fitting. They watch you run. We watch customers walk, run inside the store. Sometimes you'll come in on a Saturday and we got like this whole track kind of thing going around. Even though we don't have a track, it feels like a track. We'll put them running outside in front of the store. We have a treadmill. So a lot of people want to see how they look before they get the right shoe and after they get the right shoe. So, once again, we were talking about the pronation. We'll have customers that buy shoes online and they're like, hey, my shins are hurting. What's happening? So I say, hey, give me your phone. Let's put it on slow motion. Let's videotape you. And on that video, I'll show them how when they're landing, their foot is doing this, inward. I'll go grab one of our shoes. I'll put on our shoe that's going to have some light support. And once we videotape them again, they're like, wow, it's not coming in.
so this is a science.
There is a science to it. We're not grabbing shoes off the wall just to grab. There is a process, and every runner has a different type of gait. Every runner needs a different type of shoe.
Wow. So this has been a very informative conversation, and it's quite timely.
Yes.
Because we're so excited.
Yes.
On September 22nd,
Yes.
the Women's Breast and Heart Initiative is hosting its 8th annual Pink Walk 5K walk and run, chip timed. We're excited about that. So it's going to be held at Miami-Dade College North Campus, and we invite everyone to join us. And if you can't join us in person, there's a virtual option. So please register today at thepinkwalk.com. Again, that's thepinkwalk.com. And I also am very excited because Hector's a big part of this race. The day before the race, on September 21st, you can visit his store and pick up your bib and your t-shirt and have this experience, about talking about running and talking about the shoes that you need. And he'll be there and he can help you look at some of the shoes and you'll learn a whole lot. I've learned a lot today. So, we want you to be part of our work because this is a charity run. So the services that we provide are at no cost to participants. So we need to raise funds, and the Pink Walk is one of those vehicles that helps us serve the women in our community. So join us. And in closing, I always give gratitude. So I'd like to thank my production team. They are amazing. They put up with me, and believe me, they make us look good. So I want to thank them. And then there's one in particular who's not here with us, but it's a young man. His name is Maritza Costa. He's a high school student. He has his own nonprofit. He is doing amazing things in teaching the next generation about civic engagement and preparing the leaders for the next generation. So I'm super excited for him. He's doing amazing things here locally, throughout the state, throughout the country, and in Washington, D.C. If you ever sit down with him and hear him talk about how he's met the Supreme Court, the president, senators, he blows me away. So I want to thank him. And then, of course, to our beloved Manny Sid, who is the mayor of the town of Miami Lakes. I want to thank him for opening his heart, his office. We have this podcast studio in his office that he opened up, and we couldn't thank him enough because without him, this would not be possible. And then to our very dear guest, Hector Arana, all I can say to you is keep training, keep teaching, keep loving, because I can see the joy in your heart, and keep living your best life.
Thank you.
I am Andrea Ivory, your host of Living for Longevity, a podcast designed to help you live your best life, presented by the Women's Breast and Heart Initiative, Featured will be stories of triumph over tragedy, lifestyle resources, all kinds of things to help you live your best life. So please join us and subscribe to the Living a Longevity podcast. Also, we're social. Visit us on Facebook and YouTube at the WBHI, and on X and Instagram at WBHI. Also, you can visit us on the website at flbreasthealth.com. There you'll find resources to guide you along the way. And thank you so very much for joining us. And until next time, live your best life.